Testing, testing, check, check, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, check, check, 1, 2, 3. It seems like the audio's working. Let me just do the old link sharing and then we'll get back to these Spartans. Okay, it's painting time. Thank you, Akihiko Senpai. It's good to be back. Good job getting first and 80. Or wond. I think I'd say that wond. Alright, today the plan is to just finish the 4th one of this first squad of 4 Spartans. Yesterday I was too haggard to do any streaming. Still a little haggard today, vaccine side effects. But pretty confident I can finish this last guy, the pointing guy. So you can see the basing I'm doing for these is this gray gradient. Pretty happy with how it turned out. And yeah, let's just get to it. We've done the first round of edge highlighting on this one. And we need to do all the edge highlighting on the blue-gray. Then just touch up a few little details on the gun and the thigh pouch. Then we'll do the base. So first we're going to finish the pink. I should be able to get it done by just reactivating the paint that's on the palette. Start with a good old re-moistening. Hope you're all having a chill Monday. Thank you, 80. Yeah, that should be enough pink still. As always, let me know how the volume levels sound. And that brush is a little stiff. And for the gray gradient, I did break out the larger Army Painter wet palette. So once we're done with the pink and the blue-gray, we'll be switching over to that one. And I'm probably going to use that one just for the remainder of all the Spartans, of which there are 8 to paint after this. Are you talking about the Gundam Assemble minis, Akihiko? I mean, like, when they show up on pre-orders, I'm gonna try and get some from my local shop, which is also the shop that's brought in the Gundam card game, but they've had such a hard time getting an actual supply of it. I don't have my hopes up for Gundam Assemble. Gundam Assemble, I'm afraid, will probably fail to take off here in my area just because supply issues, basically. I don't think it's going to be able to live up to its full potential here in Canada. But also, it's still kind of unclear when it's actually coming out, so we'll see. Also, still waiting to see what the game's actually going to play like. I think it'll be good, because I've heard like good things about the actual gameplay of the Gundam card game. It's just been super deflating seeing how the supply issues here basically like made it impossible to get any kind of like gaming community off the ground for it. Not that I've really tried that hard. I guess I'm just a little cynical when it comes to Bandai, as many of us are. You know, it's just like, I'd love to see that new Iron-Blooded Orphans movie. Currently, though, I believe you have to go to Japan to see it in theaters. I haven't looked into it that much, though, so don't quote me on that. I'm hoping I've got, like, I don't think this guy will take too long to finish, so I'm hoping that part of this stream we can get started on the next Spartans and have fun picking out what vibrant colors are going to paint those ones. Yeah, I imagine Pokemon cards could have some supply issues too. Dealing with scalpers is pretty brutal with Pokemon cards. It's like my local card shop will, you know, they'll take trade-ins for Pokemon cards, but they only do store credit for Pokemon. Just because there's so many, like, bad actors and opportunists looking to, like, yoink some Pokemon cards and flip them for quick cash. They'll give you cash for your Magic the Gathering cards, because, like, you know, that's been established for a long time as, like, a more stable market. Something about the last 5 years with the Pokemon cards, though, has just had this big influx of opportunists, making it worse for the people who actually want to, like, play and collect earnestly. I traded in a bunch of my Pokemon cards recently because I knew I was sitting on some value. Got a lot of store credit for it, imagining I'd save it for when Gundam Assemble comes out. But it's almost gone now because I've mostly just spent it on EDH stuff. EDH as in Magic the Gathering Commander, which I've been having fun with for years. There's a bit of red plastic showing through here. I'm gonna mix up some of this gray just to conceal that as a shadow. It's a Centaur dubbed Blackout Abyss Rush. That sounds like a pretty cool mobile suit. Man, we went from some ambient music to some intense classical music. I keep pointing this out like I didn't make the playlist myself. Alright, I think that calf is done. Yeah. And I'm hoping maybe this week at work, the hotly anticipated Feet First into Hell Halo Flashpoint expansion finally arrives. For those of you who don't know, that's the one with the ODST models. The ODST squad is like 7 people in it. Because, you know, ODST aren't like super soldiers like the Spartans, so you get 7 instead of 4, I believe. I haven't decided if I'm gonna, like, pick up and paint that one myself. I'll probably just wait until I'm, like, until I've gotten through all the stuff I do have which is we got the 4 I'm painting now. We got 2 other Spartan expansion teams after. And then we got the team of brutes and the team of elites. I feel like once I'm done painting the Spartans, so I'll probably like take a break and paint some conquest stuff. Get in some games with the Spartans until I'm like ready for something new, and then I'll paint the elites and brutes. We'll see though. I am pretty excited to paint the elites because I think they're pretty cool. And of course, when I'm playing games with them, I'll just make lots of annoying like Gorgonzola. You know the meme. Hopefully that just didn't sound like nonsense to a bunch of you. Alright, I think that calf is done. I work at a friendly local game store. Been technically this sharing the painting on the YouTube and social media is like a part-time job still. I'm still like generating a bit of ad revenue and Patreon money, which is why I always it was always in the plans to get back to at least the streaming for now. Streaming is about all I can manage between the IRL job. But hey, I got, like I always said, I got stuff to paint either way, so I might as well try and share some of it. And the paint dried up on the tip there. Unfortunately, there is no Arbiter mini in Flashpoint yet, which is a huge missed opportunity, because we love the Arbiter. Oh, the darling boy. There is a Master Chief mini who is like pretty annoyingly hard to get. Like I think you can get him, you can get Master Chief from Mantic's website directly, but trying to like order in a Master Chief for the store has been annoyingly difficult. And of course, this like Master Chief is a bit more expensive. You gotta pay the main character tax. And that highlight's a bit too thick there. Perhaps I can scoop up some of this darker stuff. Yeah, it kind of works. Be nice if eventually they came out with an Arbiter. The thing is, I think they don't have the Arbiter because most of the Flashpoint stuffs, or the original Flashpoint stuff, was based off like Halo 5 Guardians? I'm not sure. My knowledge post like Halo 3 is not great. Yes, a new Master Grade Barbatos. That's good news all around. It's a Master Grade Barbatos Lupus, right? Is that out yet? Actually, no, I don't think it is. I probably would have seen my local plastic crack dealers post about that if it was out. I think I need to add just a bit of the base magenta into the palette so I can just have some emergency shade mix. It's in Japan, so be out here in the Americas soon enough. Yeah, I mean, if next time I'm at my local plastic crack dealer, if they got one in stock, I'll probably pick it up. And I don't have any like plans to customize it any which way. You know, the original Master Grade Barbatos is so good. Pretty confident in thinking that this new one would also be a very good kit. The Master Grade Vidar looked very nice as well. I didn't build it myself. I saw someone building it the other day though. Yeah, I mean, I imagine the amount that the local shops were able to get in was probably like all taken up by customer pre-orders for like the keeners who really wanted it. So perhaps I will not acquire one until next year. Not in a rush or anything. It's not P Bandai's, so hopefully availability shouldn't be too hard after like the initial rush. Yes, I've heard the legends of trying to get stuff from Japan and the UK. I think you probably have it worse than me. Highlighted a bit too hard there, I think. Well, let's bring that back a bit. Yeah, most of the other Spartans have like guns covering up the upper parts of their thighs and chest, so this one's interesting where I'm like actually fully edge highlighting the chest and thighs. Or at least one of the thighs. You know what they say, edge highlighted thighs save lives. Now this is some epic painting music. Yeah, import fees. All my homies hate import fees. I got a package from Parabellum Wargames last week. After conversion, the shipping was like 30 Canadian dollars. And then on top of that, I had to pay, I think it was around 45 Canadian dollars of import fees, aka UPS extortion fee. Feels bad. Also, thank you for the, oh wow, $50 super chat, Faye. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. I'm glad you were finally able to catch a stream. That $50 will be put to good use. Much appreciated. That's like, might be like almost triple my average monthly ad revenue. I didn't, my schedule's too inconsistent with like personal engagements to have like a set in stone stream schedule. But I did draft up a rough like plan for when else I'm gonna stream this week. Try to remember to share those details towards the end of this stream. Or like post with more heads up to count down perhaps. Ooh, that's rough 80. The high-grade Dictus from Crossbone Gundam? I don't think I know that one. I know Crossbone Gundam, but just like the main lad. Mr. Crossbones Gundam, if you will. I don't know. I mean, Gundams obviously don't have a gender. I haven't read Crossbone Gundam, so I don't know if the pilot, what the gender of that, the pilot of that mobile suit is. Not that it matters. My pronouns are mech, but looks like the camera needs to be reset. Just gonna finish this one chest plate. Then I'll fix the camera lag. Here's TN monocle. How very British. Oh look, there's a little button for me to heart the super chat. I heard the sound effect go off. I don't know if the animation played. I think I can resend the notification. And it doesn't look like that button did anything. I can see the little widget below the Patreon names is working, so at least there's that. Yeah, I just want to make sure you get some recognition other than my verbal thanks. Okay, I heard the sound effect again, but the animation didn't play. That's a little disappointing. For next stream, I'll have to try and test that beforehand. Alright, let's move to the butt plate. Alright, now on to the lower back. I think I just need to do a solid remoistening of this paint though. We're running a bit low, but I think we've got just enough. Alright, I don't think I need to add more of the highlight color. That's what I mean to say. Highlights look too bright as I'm applying them, but as you may have heard me say before, it should dry and darken to about the right shade. This paint always looks brighter when it's wet. Got a fiber on the end of the brush. I have not. The last Gunpla kit I built was the high-grade Danazine from Gundam Age. That was a while ago. I think that was like back in April or May. Probably May. I haven't. There was a. Yeah, I haven't purchased any Gunpla in the last month or so. I've given away a decent amount of my Gunpla as like donations to local events for prizes, but I've definitely got a few I'm sitting on, like the blue frame Astray, the one with the big honking sword, and this old-ish Kotobukiya kit from Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. The like kind of scorpion tank from I can't remember, it's from the one of the first 3 episodes of the first season of Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. Oh, and I picked up a kit from I think it was like 5-Star Stories. Can't remember the name of it. Yes, I haven't been doing a ton of Gunpla lately. I went pretty hard with the Gunpla and doing that Gamma Wolf's custom scenario event at Dungeon Fest, the local convention this summer, which I made a community post about. I probably made the post at like the beginning of September. And after that event, I was like feeling like I needed a bit of a break from Gamma Wolves. And it just felt like a natural spot to kind of like bookend that chapter of tabletop gaming with Gunpla. For now anyways, certainly not the end. I ain't getting rid of all those Gunpla I painted after all. But the main gaming I've been doing still remains to be Conquest. And as you can see now, gonna try and pick up Halo Flashpoint as another game. I mean, I already have, as in like I've been painting, I just haven't like given it a proper play yet. A couple of my coworkers have been playing it though, so I know I have someone to throw down with when I'm ready. Alright, just the arms and head left, I believe. For the pink, anyways. The other squads of Spartans painting their weapons will be a bit more of a process because, I don't know, maybe half of them have Covenant weapons. So it'll be more than just like, oh, let's just paint it like a very dark silver. Kind of reads as black, but I don't want like pure black because we do want to bring out some of those recessed details. Alright, that arm's done. If I was left-handed, perhaps the paint water pot will be on the other side closer to the mic and you'd get more water swishing ASMR. Yeah, we're almost out of the highlight color of the pink on the palette, but I should have enough to finish. I don't want to add another droplet on just yet. 3D printer. I mean, you might not be able to get a exact Space Marine helmet, but you could definitely get like a legally distinct Space Marine helmet to put on a Gundam. That seems fairly doable. Oof. $80 US dollars on top of the cost of the master grade. That's a doozy, Akihiko. So I guess the silver lining is you can take it as encouragement to build through the backlog. I'm just assuming you have a backlog, much like I assume miniature wargamers have a backlog of unpainted minis that's unreasonable to get through. You know, me. Like, since I've donated a decent amount of my unbuilt gunpla kits, the backlog is smaller, but it's still definitely there, and it's still somewhat sizable, which is fine. Alright, I think we call that arm done. Oh, if your friend can model the helmet themselves. I mean, if you can model a Space Marine helmet and print it for a friend if it's like non-commercial use. I assume, just don't tell Games Workshop. And it should work with a resin printer or FDM printer, I think. I'm no 3D printing expert though. I'm not even a 3D printing novice. Alright, helmet. As with a lot of details on these Spartan models, it's kind of hard to tell, like, where certain bits of armor end and begin. Like, what part of this helmet should be the visor and what shouldn't. Like, as you know, Spartan armor is pretty, like, there's a lot of, like, panels and rivets and whatnot. But, like, the quality of these minis is kind of more like board game mini quality. So some of the details just get a little lost and blend together. Hence why I'm kind of doing this. I mean, I can't speed paint, I've learned at this point. My brain just just won't let me speed paint. So I'm kind of doing this like in between of like, yes, I'm meticulously edge highlight. Actually, meticulous is the wrong word. I'm messily edge highlighting it. Oh yeah, Faye, what's the addition it's getting? That's how backlogs work. The growth is eternal. Unless for some reason you just like entirely what's the word I'm looking for? Entirely crash out and just sell everything and get out of the hobby, which I never recommend doing. I find usually when people do that, they end up regretting it later. Especially if it involves like selling minis or models you already painted. But that's different for when you're like really short on space or strapped for cash and you kind of have to sell something. I think probably is most common is being short on the budget. Be like, well, I want to get some more stuff, so I'll sell some stuff to get more stuff. Either that or it's like, well, I am out of shelf space entirely, so something's got to go. And I don't want to store it in a closet. Yeah, the top of this one's helmet is real edgy. Alright, I think pink edge highlighting done now. Oh, really, Faye? Oh yes, and 30-minute fantasy kits coming. Oh, larger scale TTRPG tokens, that's super cool. That's pretty baller. If I can imagine like playing a TTRPG and just whipping out like a 30-minute fantasy kit as like a token of some kind, that's pretty epic. I'm glad I could inspire you. The 30-minute fantasy kits are pretty nice. I don't have any, but Blue Parappa has one. I want to say the Liber Priest, maybe? I saw a preview on Instagram today from Bandai. I actually have a new one that's coming out. It's like a dragon that your 30-minute fantasy character can ride. And I'm a certified dragon enjoyer, so hence why the last Gundam I built was the high-grade Danazine. For those of you who don't know, it's basically just like a dragon. Okay, I can reactivate some of this blue paint, but we definitely need to add a couple more droplets. Yeah, that's true, Akihiko. One of my local friends is pretty good at 3D printing. He found this like kind of flexible resin to use recently. It seemed to work pretty well for him. The thing I don't like about, like, I think FDM is good for like terrain and tokens and widgets and stuff. Problem is like those layer lines are just way more obvious with them. Okay, that looks a little dark right now. Is that one tiny droplet of this? Oh, I should shake it a bit more, just like how separated that is. Just need to add a bit more of the dark blue, because that white is, or the light blue is just very strong. Probably because it's just a straight up mix of acrylic inks. If you don't have a backlog, are you even hobbying? Am I right? Alright, on to the knee pads. Let's see how I mixed this. I think that looks about right so far. Other knee pad is pretty obscured by the gun. Shouldn't have to do too much to it. Just kind of on the side here. And this annoying thigh pad has the straps over it. Yeah, I only really need to do the bottom and like the top bit here. Yes, project paralysis. A real problem, I can understand that. It's always easy to buy stuff, get that quick hit of retail dopamine. As opposed to the slow delay dopamine. I don't know if dopamine's the right word to be using, but it's like, yes, buying things is fun and satisfying. It's just like a quick over and done. Painting and finishing a project can be a bit of a struggle, but the satisfaction you get at the end is a lot more. But there's risk for like more frustration if, you know, the painting doesn't go the way you want it to. Grabbing a bit of black here. Some on-the-fly wet blending. Can't forget the elbow pad. I find a lot of the time my project paralysis comes from finding it hard sometimes to paint things off camera. Being like, yes, I could paint that right now, but I should really be streaming it or recording it in some way. But you know, that's adding like a whole nother list of things to do on top of just the actual painting, so oftentimes that leads to just nothing being done. Bit different when it comes to building, or like most of the building I've been doing recently is like kit bashing, building conquest miniatures. Like my kit bashing process is very chaotic, and I don't share it that often, mostly just like the end results. So I've been able to get a decent amount done off camera over the last few months, just with like building and kit bashing that stuff. But when it came to the brushwork, there was just this constant pressure of like, I really need to get back to streaming so I can get back to painting, which is like silly, because it's like, well, I can paint off stream too. Just the being the hobby YouTuber can poison your brain like that. And like I was able to get some painting done here and there. Shared it on Patreon when I could. Yeah, my Tylenol feels like it's wearing off already. I'm running out of autism. Just kidding, that never runs out. The Tylenol was for the vaccine side effects. I will commit to finishing this Spartan today, though, to get the squad done. Painting, I did enjoy painting the gradients on the base a lot, so I'm looking forward to finishing the body of this guy and getting to that. Oh, hey, Cody. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, first round of edge highlights on the blue-gray done. Let's add another drop of the light blue. Thank you, Cody. Let me give you a quick look at the 3 that are finished. So we're finishing the 4th one today. And again, only 1 drop of this is needed because it's pretty strong. The safety plan sounds exciting. Alright. Should only need, much like the pink, we only do like 2 rounds of edge highlighting, so after this we just tidy up some of the blacks and grays. Wait, we do need, I do add a little bit of the metallic blue back to the visor to just help it pop a bit. Oh boy. A secret, you say? Well, you know, feel free to slide into my DMs with that later. Or, you know, I'll just, I'll wait till I see it in the public. A couple hunches as to what it is. Also, I hope the brain is recovered from Halcon. Wish I could have been there for the conquest party with you. Kudos to handling all that yourself for the most part. Must have all been a blur at a certain point. You just get the mix a bit darker and bring back these edges a little. Secret tunnel. Damn, I hope. Damn, that must have been stressful, like trying to like go to the bathroom or get a lunch break if you're there all by yourself. One day, maybe, Parabellum will have their crap together. For us, anyways. Not this year. But we make do. I feel like, well, let's just compare to some other knee pads. Yeah, it's close enough. At a certain point, you just gotta reach 80% to reach about 80% of where you want it to be and then call it done. That should be applied to most projects. That's advice I heard from one of the Green brothers. Can be applied to a lot of things. Okay, Cody, I'll look at that photo after I'm done streaming. One day. Yeah, I guess speaking of Secret Tunnel, now that Avatar The Last Airbender Magic the Gathering set is out, I suppose there's probably a Secret Tunnel card. It's probably like a land or something. I think there's some pretty reasonably priced Goku plastic model kits. I assume you're talking about, when you say collection, you mean your like plastic model kit collection. There's definitely like a super cheap, like just easy to build, I guess entry grade you would call it, Goku, because I got one for free at an event at Oda Fest a couple years ago. I think I just need a little bit of the dark blue back on the palette, because I need to darken up the mix without grabbing the black that'll just desaturate it too much. Alright, see you later, Cody. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's better. Much better. Now it almost feels like I need to add more of the light blue onto the palette, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I just need to, yeah, it's just kind of hidden. Just need to jostle it up a bit. I just gotta do the sides of the head now. Stretch. Almost there. Alright, I think we're gonna call that blue highlight done. Now let us reactivate some of the gray on the palette. The gray, not the blue gray. And we're just gonna touch up a few things. On the Under Armour and thigh pouch and gun. Well, let me just compare. Do we even need to do the... I don't think we really even need to do the Under Armour bits. The pouch, though, we're definitely gonna do. Might leave the gun as is, too, to be honest. Got a pot on your head. Alright, just need to bring some more definition to these straps. And the baggie, which, you know, I can only assume is filled with granola bars for when the Spartans get hungry. And gonna add a bit more definition to the fingies. I think we can call this one done now, TBH. Yeah, the gun looks close enough. Let's just add a few more gray highlights to the Under Armour bits that are exposed. The paint's still wet after all. Okay, we're done with this wet palette. And I think it's like done. I don't need to save this. This paper is a little jank. I'm not gonna save it for the collection. We'll have to give that palette a good washing later. But we're gonna use a bit of metallics now. Using these janky homemade mixes. Just cause consistency isn't super important with the FLASHPOINT stuff. I mean, consistency is important for a few of the things involved, but for these tiny little metallic details, not so much. Okay, just grabbing a little bit of the gunmetal blue to touch up the visor, or make the visor pop just a little bit more, because it did get darkened down by the wash. There's only a little bit of the visor showing. And we can, as I did on one of the other guns, we can just add a bit to this part for funsies. Alright, now just need to mix up a little bit of a medium silver. So we got our homemade dark iron there. And this is like a really bright silver. Just gonna add a little squeeze of that. Give it a mix. My opinion on centaurs, I think they're pretty neat. I still have the Barbatorus in my backlog. Alright, so just have a few metallic details to highlight on the thigh here. This part of the armor is the exact same on all the squad. And then on the thigh pouch here, we can help it stand out a bit more by just getting these, I guess, buckles part of it with a bit of silver. Again, the details aren't super crisp, so not being ultra precise or anything. And this looks like it could use a little silver. And while we still got a bit of this on the brush, let's just brighten up the barrel of the gun while I'm here. Alright, it's time to paint the gradient of the base, and then we'll be done this one. And then we'll definitely be past the 90-minute mark. We'll see how my energy levels are after that. I'll probably like end the stream once I'm done the base, because that'll just be like a very nice bookend to these streams. But there's more Halo Flashpoint after this. A Barbatos riding a Barbatorus. That'd be a little jank. I think it's just like centaurs look cool, but they don't look... They look a little weird when someone is riding a centaur like a horse. Does that make sense? I think a lot of the time in fiction, centaurs are like smaller than actual horses. This paint's looking nice and messy. Let's fix that. I should probably change the paint water too, just so I can re-moisten this. Okay, you can kind of see here we got our rough gray gradient. Speaking of grays, so the mid-tone of the gray is this iron hull gray. So let's get a bit of that on the palette just to establish the mid-tone. And yes, it's gonna start mixing with the other grays right away, but that's okay. We can switch to a slightly larger brush. So the this Spartan has the nice point, fingers pointing, so you can see right where the eye line is. So we kind of want like the horizontal, like the middle of the gradient to go like there. So the gradient is going from light to dark in the direction that the Spartan is looking, if that makes sense. And this part I gotta be, and so I'm starting off with a stripe in like the rough middle. And of course I need to be very careful not to get any paint onto the booties that have been very carefully highlighted. But it wasn't, I found it wasn't too bad when I was doing the 3 yesterday, so. And if these minis might end up getting, or should in theory end up getting used for like in-store events, so strangers will be handling them, so we will be giving them a hefty double coat of varnish. The Barbatos Centipede, yeah, I mean that's a bit different than a Barbatos riding a Barbatoros, so it sounds proper cursed to that one. Alright, for the dark bit, we've got P3 gray coats, but for the absolute darker end of it, we do add a little bit of black. But to start here, we can just start blending the edge. Just getting the next step in here. I need to add a bit of black because great coats next to iron hull gray itself is like only a minor difference. And we just need a bit more range in the gradient. But we can start the mixing process already. And I could break out the glaze medium for this, like I do with the bases on my Gunpla, but yesterday I thought I'd give it a shot without the glaze medium, and it turned out fine, so don't even need it. if it was like a single display piece, like with the Gundam stuff. I mean, the Gundam stuff, my Gundam stuff isn't purely display, but is like a lot bigger, so flaws will be magnified. So in that case, we definitely want the glaze medium. But for these, it's not as big a deal. Yeah, unfortunately this part is kind of hard to show on camera just because looking top down, the mini itself does block the view of what I'm doing on the base. And that real dark gray we only want on the right up on the edge here. Hopefully you can kind of see how I'm wet blending, as in like working with the paint while it's still wet. Blending it while it's still wet, you could say. Hence the name wet blending. But you gotta work fast, because if you try and like blend it and it's like started to partially dry and like form a skin, then you can like tear up that skin and like leave a kind of ridge or texture behind, which not super ideal. Okay, I'm gonna work on the bright end of the gradient now. Gotta add some Iron Hull Gray back onto the palette. It's a pretty healthy scoop there. Now we add white. The bright and dark end of the gradient, we're not shooting for pure black and pure white. Like the whole gradient is gonna be gray is the idea. Alright, we're past 90 minutes out of... Well, this is the third stream I've done since coming back from hiatus, and I think the longest one I did before today was like just under 90 minutes. Be nice to, you know, when the time is right, I'll try and do another stream where I go past 2 hours, and I don't remember what my record is overall. I think maybe I might have come close to a 4-hour stream once. I can't quite remember. I've definitely had a 3-hour stream before. You can see some of my previous brush strokes are showing up under this light gray, so we're gonna need a few layers. That's too many Barbatos on one model kit, 80. Okay, I need to switch to a more precise brush, but not the super nice brush. This is pretty messy painting work, and I, gotta keep that paint out of the ferrule when I can. Whoops. Wrong shade in there. Now, stuff like this is a real good showcase of the power of a wet palette. Even if you're in a super moist climate, trying to do something like this without a wet palette would be pretty challenging, I can imagine. I have to imagine though, because I am not in a moist climate at all. Okay, you know what? I think I do need to switch to the precise brush for the home stretch here. Too dark. Too dark. We've got too much back and forth going on here. I think what I need to do is more clearly define where the shades are on the palette. Okay, we got wipe the neutral gray or the middle gray over here. Mix in this area to be like the spot just before the brightest spot. And then just mix in this white more to be the true brightest spot. And yes, this all does bleed it into each other on the wet palette, but that's kind of the point. Right, let's just do a quick comparison here. Okay, so we don't need to go any brighter. So let's try and avoid using this. Alright, I think I need to step away from the bright end for a bit and go back tidy at the dark end, which looks a bit too dark right now. Yeah, I mean, the supply of, like, the battle log kits might be a little low right now, because they might be, like, in between print runs. Because when that web series or, like, short anime came out, well, that was a few years ago now. So the main hype period for the kits is past, so to speak. And what did you think of the Barbatoras, Akihiko? A 30-minute mission centipede, that sounds like a bit more of a reasonable centipede, perhaps. Okay, I feel like I'm going back and forth too much in a few spots here. That's always the challenge with these gradients, of just like one step forward, two step back. Yeah, like that's too bright now. I think I'm doing too much layering and not enough wet blending is the issue. The dark bit looks mostly fine, I think, though. Or it feels like it's almost there. I think some painters will be doing this with like holding a clean brush in their mouth. So instead of like going to wipe off the paint, just like grabbing the other brush to like quickly blend. Nope, too dark. That's better. Let's take a break from the dark bit. I'm in the home stretch, I can feel it. Abyss Rush, that's a cool name. Could also be the name of an attack move. Or a finishing move. Just about there. This part in the middle of the base here just looks too... There isn't enough gradient going on. So let's reestablish mid-tone. interesting challenge painting on the gradients like this when there's like a thing attached to the base, because usually when I paint these base gradients, it's before I've actually attached the mini to the base. You know what, that might be it. Just gonna give it a second to dry and I'll compare it to the other ones. Yeah, you know what, that's definitely close enough. Okay, last but not least, we are going to rim the edge of the base black. The classic, everyone knows and loves it. I mean, it's no goblin green rim, but there's a time and a place for a goblin green base rim. And yes, there's a bit of wasted paint here, but just how it goes. I feel like painting these Spartans has probably been an average of like 3 to 4 hours per Spartan. That's probably like closer to 3. Alright, only need a little squirt of black here. Alright, you can see my advanced technique of bracing my pinky against my thumb because I gotta make sure I don't touch the base rim. These bases don't have like a clearly defined ridge like some other bases do. So I kind of just use the side of the brush, put my paint on fairly thick. Alright, I think we're done. Damn, every 2 weeks a 40% off sale. That's pretty good. So, in theory, next step is to varnish these along with the terrain I painted, but I'm kind of feeling like I'm gonna finish the other 8 Spartans that are already primed and ready to go, and then I'll just batch varnish them all, have a big photo session. We'll see though, but this is the first squad of Spartans complete. So thank you all for joining me on these live streams. There'll be more to come. Alright, let me bring up my calendar here. Tentative next live stream will be tomorrow evening. potentially Wednesday evening. And then, depending on how gung-ho I am for painting this week, work and stuff, we could do another Friday and Saturday stream during the day. Hopefully it's not too much carpal tunnel. Alright, well thanks again for coming, everybody. Really appreciate it. Give another shout out to Faye for that $50 super chat, much appreciated. And yeah, hope you have a good start to the week, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.